Hi, everybody. It's me, Mama D. Sorry, we had a few technical difficulties, but we are here. Let's see. I'm going to go to the comments. Um, my guest today, as you can see, is Kendra, and I'm not going to do the whole last name, but I'm just going to say Kendra. Okay. She's a psychic medium, and her first encounter with spirit was when she was about 3 years old. She saw a dark entity that followed her around for a while, but her first good spirit was George. I love that name. And George looked like Abraham Lincoln. I like the idea of that. Kendra sees spirits in dreams and in real life, but she also sees she does these things, and this is how I first met her. She does hair readings. Take a picture of you live. Hey guys, hey Deborah Joe. Um, she does we take a picture live and she will read your hair. She will tell you that she will see things, and she did mine and I was like floored. It was really good. So I mean, aside from the general everyday readings, this is her, like, for me, this is what her claim to fame is. This is what I was like, hair readings, hello. So hello and thank you, and thank God we finally got ourselves back together and working on the air. So you want to tell everybody who's listening a little bit about you?
Well, I'm a mother of 6 children,
Holy
grandmother,
cow, you deserve a medal.
a mother of 5 grandchildren. I'm married. Um, I live in a small town. Um, I guess
Yeah,
I kind of like music. I mean, there
it's
really
what
ain't
feeds
nothing
our souls. Yeah.
exciting about me.
This is a
I
regular
do a little
old.
bit of
She's a
ghost hunting
regular
here and
lady.
there.
There you go. Yeah, lovely. See, Lovey Summer says, awesome hair readings. Never heard of that. Neither did I. But, it's like, hey, Selva, happy Easter. Yes, happy Easter to everybody. So yeah, there are all kinds of readings out there. I have a friend who used to do, she still does, but she doesn't do it anymore. She does food readings. She can pick you up like this. You show her what your favorite meal is, and hey, Scott and Kendra. I saw a Facebook post one day. I think I was in your group. I can't remember exactly how, and you had something about hair readings. I went, oh please, next time you do this, because it was technically closed. I said, let me know, and she's like, yeah, no problem. Let's do it now. Just send me a picture. I was like, okay. So I sent her a picture. Hello, and yeah, interesting. So when okay, let's get to the hair readings, because everyone's like, that's for me, that's what sort of started us as our friendship. So when did you start doing hair readings?
I've always been able to see things in photos that most people couldn't see, and people thought it was odd.
Okay.
Um, so I've pretty much been doing it since I've been able to recognize, what my gifts were.
Hmm.
So for a long time.
Okay. And I'm not sure, Deborah Joe, if we're going to be doing readings, but let's just we'll get if she does, I'll make sure that she gets to you. Do you okay, because I know you don't have to be face to face with the person, because you and I weren't face to face. You saw my picture.
Mhm.
So does the connection get better when you are technically in the same room with the person, or it's just the same for you?
No, it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same. The energy travels. I mean, just like any other energy. That's what I mostly read is the energy of people.
Okay.
And then how my gifts work is I start getting like puzzle pieces, and I have to put these puzzle pieces together, and then I have to try to make sense out of it, and to be able to tell somebody what their message is.
Okay. What does that sound?
Uh, I'm
It's a
sorry,
siren.
that's probably my laptop.
It's a siren. They're coming to take me away. Hello.
No, it's my fan on my laptop. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's good. Um. Okay. So now okay. Tell. Okay. Your first connection with spirit was a red-eyed entity. Tell me about that one.
I was probably about 3.5 3.5 years old. We lived in Brewston, Tennessee. We moved down there. My parents, they bought a house down there. um, my dad and my sister went to church. Because my dad's a pastor, and my brothers didn't go that night, and my mom didn't go. So the night that I seen it was the night that my dad and my sister went to church, and I don't remember what it said, but I know it scared me bad enough to where I could never walk through a house or through anywhere that was dark without turning on every light in the house.
Hmm. And did okay, you say it did say something, you just don't remember what it was. How do you
I
remember how long it sort of stuck around you?
I think it stuck around me for a long time because that haunted memory of it really
Mhm.
scared me for a long time. Even as an adult, up until probably about 15, 20 years ago.
Interesting.
It was just one of
And
those traumatic things that you just don't get over.
yeah, no. Hello, the first thing you see is beady red eyes, and, and they're not my own in the mirror, especially when you're 3 years old. So yeah, that would be it would give you nightmares if nothing else.
Mhm.
So tell me about George, Mr. Smith.
George Smith. I actually ran into him walking down my street. Um, we were playing in the yard, and I was talking to him, and my mom came out, asked me who I was talking to. And I told her, I was like, I'm talking to George Smith. And she kind of looked at me funny, you know. My parents, they were gifted too, I guess, but she didn't see them, but I did.
Okay.
So I was always having conversations with him, and he told me that he'll always be around to protect me. So, and that's how mine and his relationship began.
Okay. And you were about how old?
I probably was around 4 then.
Okay. So when you went to school, he was still with you?
Yes.
Okay.
He was
Was he
always
like
with
some
me.
people? Okay. So like some people when they started seeing spirit early and they had their first, for lack of a better word, their first guide, um, did he sort of step to the background when you were in school and only came to you when you needed? Because as kids, we all know that kids can be a little bit mean, so that when you're a little bit different, they have oh, Sandy, they will pick on you if there's something a little bit different about a child. Other kids will pick on you. Did you have that issue in school?
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay.
And yes, he would come and go. I didn't always see him at school. But like if I needed him around, all I had to do was call for him. And how I would call for him would be inside my head, and then boom, he'd show up.
Okay. And Pamela Rogers in the chat room would like, is George your spirit guide?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have only one? Because I know a lot of people have more than one.
No, I actually have 7 spirit guides.
Ooh. And do each of them, I'm reading your mind. Do each of them have a different job? We
Yes.
might as well say. Okay.
Yes. They each have their own job.
Okay. And but George is your main one, so sort of like the gatekeeper of all.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And do you use, oh gosh, do you use your guides when you do readings? Not just hair readings, because you do other readings. I know you do ghost box readings.
Yep, I do spirit box
Spirit
readings.
box.
Yep. And I do mediumship reads. I do card reads with mediumship reads.
Everybody in the chat room, if you want, find Psychic Medium Kendra on Facebook. You do have a Facebook group, right? Or page?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is it? So if somebody wants to, because if we don't, because this show also goes to audio, so people will need to hear it so they can find you on Facebook.
At My Psychic World.
Okay, so at My Psychic World on Facebook, and that is Kendra's Facebook group. And you, I know, because I do watch, I do pay attention. You do, sorry, you do live readings sometimes in live. I believe I saw you doing once a ghost box reading or spirit box reading.
I'm sorry, I got my grandson coming in here.
That's
Go on.
okay.
Go on out there, okay? Because I'm busy right now, okay? Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, he wanted to be on camera too. I don't blame him. My dog
Yeah,
usually
he's
pops up
always
somewhere.
trying to be on camera with me.
There you go. Well, you never know. His connection might be necessary for him to be on camera because he could be the next generation.
You got that right.
Mhm. And they always want our attention. So,
Yes.
now I lost my question. Brain fart. Do you, hmm, Pamela in the, oops, hey, that's why I can't see messages. I am so blonde today. Pamela Rogers says, I did a spirit box message tonight. So, spirit box messages. Hey, Jason, happy Easter, dear. Um, so explain to me a little bit because I don't do spirit boxes. I have a friend, her and her partner, they make amazing spirit ghost boxes, and I want to get one. It's gonna have butterflies on it, but I have to have to wait. But so tell me a little bit about the readings when you do spirit box readings.
Usually when I do spirit box readings, I will ask my guides to pull the family members that's on my group that's in my live forward
Okay.
for them, and I get quite a bit of people that really enjoy it. I mean, they like um they get so many messages on there, and I've been working with this spirit box for like, I don't know, probably about 8, 9 years.
Okay. And where did you get your spirit box?
Through I think Steve Huff
Okay.
Paranormal.
Yeah, because you also work with paranormal.
Yes, I do.
Mm,
I do have my own paranormal group, which
okay.
is my children, but we enjoy it.
That's what counts. Is so long as you enjoy the people you work with and the people, what you're doing. And with your children, just like, hello, you mess up with me, I'm your mom. I'll smack you. I'll pop you one. You know. So for everybody who's coming in into the chat room, thank you very much for showing up. Happy Easter. My guest today is Kendra, and she's a psychic medium, and we're talking about all the fun stuff that she does aside from just hair reading, which is for me her claim to fame because that's hello, she read my hair. There's a lot of it, so you had to do that one. But
I don't.
Deborah Joe in the chat room says Steve Huff.
Yes,
Okay,
Steve
so
Huff Paranormal.
yeah, and she loves him. So
Yeah.
see, I always love this when I have a new guest on the show. I always get new names for me to go in search of and talk to, and never know book them. And so there we go, Steve. If Steve, you're ever going to be listening to this, which I have no idea if you do, but I got hopes. I might bug you because I'm sure I have a lot of friends who know you. There we go, at least two. All right,
Yeah, I
Steve.
think he's from Arizona, if I remember right. I think he's from Arizona.
Oops. Okay, so you have done paranormal investigations. Have you Do you okay, I'm sure you've been on quite a few. Have Which is your most favorite, the most memorable?
Um, for my own investigation,
Mhm.
or
Yep, for your own.
I'm gonna say Grayling Cemetery. Because the reason why I say Grayling Cemetery, it used to be an old town, and there was a like a plague flu that came through and wiped it out basically.
Yeah.
And I was there one night and there was a bunch of kids there destroying stuff, because it's back in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
Um and there's a few veterans in there, and they had pulled down his flag off his grave, and his grave was kind of like tucked into like a bush.
Okay.
And so I picked up the flag off the ground where they had, kicked it, and walked over there and put it back on his grave. And I had a voice recorder with me, and I was like, I'm just gonna fix your flag some and put it back onto your grave. I was like, I'm really sorry this happened to you. And I got a voice recording said, fix my flag a little bit.
Oh, nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
So he acknowledged what I was doing for him, which was
That-
nice.
Yeah. It's a shame that that had to happen, but if that hadn't happened, you would not have gone to fix it and got that voice recording.
Right.
So
Right.
things, even bad things, naughty things, mischievous little children, things happen for a reason. So it's really cool. So that was your most memorable. Do you remember the one that you never want to live again?
No,
So far, good. Yay. Knock on wood.
not yet. Not yet.
Very cool. And how long have you been doing investigations?
Probably about 5 years.
And you still enjoy it?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you have like top 10 list? What's the place that you'd love to go to the most that you haven't been to?
I would say I want to say a mental ward. Um, Only because that would be like kind of scary for me because you're dealing with, unstable. I think that would be the most frightening one that I would have to go to.
What state do you live in?
Michigan.
Okay. So I have a lot of paranormal friends out there. If y'all know of a nice mental ward in Michigan, pop it into the chat room.
I know some. It's just I just haven't tried getting in there. I don't know. I
Okay.
just haven't faced that fear yet of trying to get into something like that.
Yeah, well, it you never know what'll happen. Tom in the chat room says definition of fun is waking at 3 a.m. and listening to furniture moving around in your attic. Mm, there's some mighty big raccoons up there.
I don't know. Because that's how it started off with me when hearing dishes rattling, cupboards shutting, silverware moving, hearing and seeing people walking up and down the hallway through the living room.
hmm
That's how it all began with me.
Mm. Is okay. In your house where you live now, are there spirits that are there with you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And do
I'm a
you know who they are? Like, are they?
Yes, I do know
Sorry, go
who
ahead.
they are. I do know who they are
Mhm.
because I'm a haunted doll collector. So
Ooh,
I have like almost 60 haunted dolls that live in my house with me.
yeah.
So yeah, I
Okay.
do know each and every one of them.
Okay. So if you, without actually bringing her or him on camera, what is your doll that is the most, like you say you have $60? What's the first one that comes to your mind?
The one that was probably from the mental ward. She was actually a very unstable person. For whatever reason, I do know that she killed her parents and her siblings. Um, and I do know that she was attached to the doll that I have, and that's why she's still attached to it.
Okay. Just a quick one here. Taro Tracy in the chat room says Zach would love you. Now I'm not sure which one of us he would love. Zach and I have to have a conversation because everybody keeps saying he's a big shot, and I keep saying he's never been on my show, so he's not a big shot. Ta-ta. You're, if it gets
I
him to
love
come on my
Zach
show, what the heck?
Bagans.
I think everybody has their people who love him and people who like me
Hate
don't
him.
know who he is, and that there are, yeah, those people, there are people who rather don't like him. I'm not going to use the
Yeah,
word hate because I don't think anybody really hates somebody. Like, they just, but I mean, I don't know everybody's choices on how their feelings are, but I can't say, oh, thanks, Tracy. Um, I think everybody has even even everybody, no matter how bad they are, still has a little tiny bit of good in them. I
yeah,
just don't know what it is in some, but I can figure
yeah.
it out eventually. But oh gosh, um, Tom in the chat room says I have lived in a haunted home for 12 years. My goodness. Okay, the
See,
only
that's what I want to do is move into a nice Victorian house, and I hope it's haunted. So I'm trying to get to that point where I can do that.
that'll be interesting. Like I'm
I mean,
not
think about it. I live with haunted dolls, so why not haunted
exactly.
house, right?
Exactly, very true. I've got a few friends who have a haunted it's a haunted hotel. It's 101 in Mass. I think it's Winchester. I may be wrong where it is, so I'm just not going to say where. Oh, thank you, Deborah Joe. Sorry. I reply to people's comments in the chat room. So for those people who are on the audio version of this, Deborah Joe just said Mama D is number one. Yay! 1.5. There we go. Um, she purchased, for lack of a better word, a beautiful building that she refurbished in a sense. She didn't change anything. She just cleaned it up, and it is got spirits. It's got a speakeasy in the basement. She's got a room upstairs that's the misfit dolls. People who have given her dolls. There's a room just for them, and they have a bed and the whole everything. So a lot of people. There's another woman who just moved out because the house is just a wee bit too haunted for her and her family, and I don't remember what it is. And she had the same thing. Each room was a different, uh, like a different era. She had one that was for the the oh gosh, like World War One, not World War One, Gettysburg era, and different. So I think it's interesting somebody because I personally don't know. I've never been to a haunted location, not that I know of, and if I have, spirit hasn't decided to let me know because But I think it's interesting that people take that on as not as a job but as a way of life almost because you have to be able to understand the spirit and you have to make sure that those people who come to visit for those who have as an open house or an event place, they have to be able to say to people, "Yo, there's things you do and don't do. Like, don't antagonize spirit because I think that's the dumbest thing to do. It's like bullying a human. You don't do that. There are people who do that. So why bully a spirit? Because you wouldn't bully a thing." Deborah Joe said she would love to drive to Michigan and investigate with you. Well, you can friend her on Facebook, and when COVID-19 has finally left this planet, you never know.
Yeah. There's a couple of haunted cemeteries up here. I'm trying to think of the one that I went to. Uh, Not last Halloween, but Halloween before that. I think it's called Hidden Hills or something like that,
Okay.
or Hills or Trees or something. I'll have to send it to you and let you know. But yeah, there's a couple of them. And I know up in the UP, um, by where I live, there's that haunted I'm trying to think what it's called now. Oh my god. Where they did that Stephen King movie, The Shining, I think.
Okay. Ooh.
I think that's up here, if I remember right. If I remember right. That's up
I,
here where
I don't do haunted movies or haunted shows or scary shows, I should say, because I really don't like them. But I did see that one.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't watch The Exorcist. That movie haunts me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do
Tom,
it.
yeah. It's kind of because it's based. The thing is, a lot of the stories are based on reality. So I mean, even if it's 1/10 of it is real, it's like holy Hannah. And
Hmm.
I'm trying not to swear on this show. I'm gonna see if we can do it. Okay, Tom in the chat room says it's a mutual thing. We get along. Never bothered me. Never knew who it was and why he was still there. So I guess that's the haunted house that he lived in. I lived in between 10 cemeteries and a lot of locations 1 hour from the border. Hello. I lived in a house that um, across the street was a cemetery, and my house, if you turned around and looked in it, there was two windows on the top, and the door in the middle looked like a face. And people used to love it at Halloween because it was like, yeah. But I never had any issues with my neighbors from across the street coming coming to visit or get a little bit too rowdy with their music. So oh, Deborah Jo agrees with you. She cannot watch The Exorcist or Pet Cemetery. Ew.
Pet Cemetery doesn't bother me, but The Exorcist definitely does because for some reason I always dream of the evil girl chasing me. I I don't know. I just can't do it. I'm just like it used to never bother me until I really started like reading people and stuff, and then it started really bothering me.
Okay, okay. Sandy Bigler in the chat room says the Amityville Horror.
Hmm.
There's a lot of places out there that have movies have been made of them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of it's interesting for those who are interested in it and want to learn more. And I think that's good. The thing is, the more you learn about something, the less the less afraid you are about it. So for
Mm-hmm.
those people, for example, when you say, "Oh my God, she's a witch," hello, that's because you're scared. Who's too young? It's because, but you don't know anything about them. So, being a witch back in the day when they knew nothing about it was scary because they knew nothing about it. Now, a lot of people are, and it's a learning process. You have to learn that, it's not the title. Haunted house is not the title. It's the title is, oh my God, scary. But you get to know who the residents are. And yes, if like as friends of mine say, if you are a butthead in life, you're going to be a butthead in death.
Yeah.
So it just and also it depends on the way people act towards you, whether you're human and or spirit. And Sandy Bigler says, "I am too young to remember the Amityville Horror Show." Amityville Horror. I don't think so. I do remember it, but I love you for saying I'm too young for it. um, so it again, it's learning to understand things, and I think that's one thing about. I believe that's one thing about what I do and what a lot of my friends do is not only are they learning about it, but they're sharing what they learn. So which is really cool. And I like and you have to give props to Facebook because as much as they as a special book that it is, it is allowing us to connect to many people and learn many things, especially with this time that's going on around us. You got to be stuck in your house. You can't do investigations, but for those people who live in haunted places, they could do investigations and do Facebook lives. But most people got to understand it's not the TV show. The TV show, they've got like a week of filming and they edit it all down to good stuff, just to 1 hour or whatever, 2 hours, whatever the case may be. And it's even less than that with the commercials. So they only show you what they see. You don't see the people sitting in the dark room for, hours on end and getting absolutely nothing. So I think so people have to get ready for that, but learn about things to not to be afraid of it. So,
Right,
okay.
exactly. And that was one of the things that I used to be afraid of was of dolls because I used to have dolls when I was a kid that would move around and it used to scare me. And I learned to face my fears and now I collect them. I'm not afraid of them.
Now you give them a safe place to reside.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is when people have that, yes, it's a safe for the dolls, it's a safe place for them to reside. They know that they don't have to, act up. I'm sure they do because like all dolls, children, they all have their moments of I think I'm gonna act like a putz for a
Hmm.
moment. So it's kind of sort of normal. Okay,
Yeah.
what's second? Deborah Joe, what is your insight into gifts coming out later in life, such as the passing of a mother and not growing up with gifts? So Deborah Joe says after the passing of her mother, her gifts came out.
I think that's great. A lot of people don't know how to handle their gifts. It actually, a lot of times when people are very gifted, it causes mental illnesses in people, and
Okay.
people just don't know the difference, it between it being a mental illness or if it's a gift.
Yeah.
So like with my son, he's schizophrenic, but he's also gifted.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of hard to differentiate, what is his gifts and what's his schizophrenia.
Okay. And I know a lot back in the day, they a lot of mental hospitals, people who they didn't who were different than the norm, um, were put into hospitals because they were hearing voices or they were seeing things, and sometimes it was just somebody who was psychic and to some extent, and or they had some form of mental illness, whether it's schizophrenia, multiple personalities. So it's you know again, it's a learning curve. You have
Mhm.
people have to people have to stop and pay attention and listen and just be open to understanding because like you said, your son is schizophrenic, but he's also gifted. So he's the one who has to worry about more than anybody else has to worry about, whether
Yeah,
he's actually listening to spirit or listening to the little voices in his head.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Deborah Joe in the chat room says investigating paranormal is no joke. No, it's not. But I've also learned, like I said, I've never been on one. I've also learned that you can't be over serious because the vibrations of laughter and having fun and having a good time of it is what brings the spirit closer.
Yeah.
And this just from watching people. Okay, paranormal mysteries crew. What can I say? Give them a shout out. She says that makes sense. She was a World War II era that would have been hauled. That makes sense. She was World War II era that would have hauled her off. Very true.
Yeah.
You know, you're welcome, sweetheart. Um, oops, this is going way too fast. Here we go. Um, Tarot Tracy says, I feel Kendra has and is receiving a lot of healing to help her work spiritually. See, that's what I love about this show. The people that come into it are there's a lot of psychics, there's a lot of mediums, there's a lot of paranormal investigators that I get to meet through the shows, and we're all here helping each other. You're here so that you can share because I asked you to, that you can share who you are and, as I say, who you are and what your passions are. But the people in the chat room are also here, and they do as well get to share their passions. And sometimes I've had a show once where my guest was a medium, and I had a medium in the chat room who said he wasn't a medium, but he was. He's just a big chicken in a kilt. And he gave a reading to the he had to wait till I was off air to give a reading to my guest because he didn't want to, he didn't want to sit, not into get in here and interfere. This is a safe place. This is a good place to be. Okay. Sorry. Tom Wrinkles is Tom. Oh my God, why did I say Wrinkles? I'm sorry, Tom. Tom in the chat room. I have many experiences in haunted locations, both good and bad. It was the type of investigation that few felt we were in. We were in three times at once. Hmm,
So like three different dimensions at once.
be interesting. Yes, I was talking about you, Scott. Say hello when I talk about people and they're here and they're like, hey, I resemble that remark.
They show up, don't they? It's like they get a
There
little
you
ringing in
go.
their ear.
Okay, and Tom says, yep. So three different
Yeah,
dimensions.
that makes sense because sometimes I feel like I'm in three different dimensions at once. It's like I'm walking through a tunnel of
Okay.
lights. And I've also seen my sister's spirit leave out of her body and go out the window when I was probably about 8 years old.
Okay,
Um,
did she pass or was this
no,
just
no,
her?
no.
So she was, for lack of a better word, she was astral projecting or
Yeah, yeah.
very cool.
But I got to see that, which
That's
was really cool.
yeah, for sure. It's like okay, then here's my question then. You know how you see in the movies how the spirit comes out of the body? Was it kind of like that?
Yeah,
Astral
I
travel. Thank
actually
you, Tracy.
seen her sit up and I actually seen her turn on her bed, but she wasn't walking. She was like floating.
Okay. But
So
what
it was a little bit different. But her eyes were open and everything, and she had the same nightgown on that she was sleeping in when she walked out of the bedroom window. Well, I should say floated out of the bedroom window.
okay, so her body was still on the bed, but her
Yeah,
spiritual body was
gone.
checking out the rest of the house. I did that. I have to say, I did that when I was a kid. Um, when I was growing up, we had a thing when the door's locked, you don't go outside. That was the way, we when I listened to my parents, when the door was locked, we, didn't go outside. So when I was a kid and I did that, I never left my house, but I would float into my parents' bedroom and see just nose around there in the kitchen. And I thought I was like a, just like a child walking around the house, checking out, who's doing what, where's everybody. And it was just wild because I was floating above. And also, yeah, but I never left the house because the front door was locked. And I don't, as of now, I don't do it, but never know what happens in the future. I might decide to try and do that again, but go visit certain people and just yank on their little furry beards. There's quite a few bearded men in the chat room, so I never know who will be there.
I don't like beards.
I
My
don't,
husband's
but
my husband's got a beard and I don't like it. I'm
it's
just
just
like shave
in the
it,
middle,
shave it, and he won't
exactly.
shave it.
You wait till the middle of the night when they're sound asleep and it zzz,
Oh no, he's a light sleeper.
oh shoot,
He
I
would
got one
be
of those
so
too.
bad.
It's like, hello, let's go. Horse tranquilizer? There we go.
He would be so mad at me. I don't think he'd ever
Just
talk to me.
say, Ma, ooh, in that case, let me do it to my husband tonight. No, kidding. Um, a haunted toy playing in your bedroom behind your guest. Oh, okay, there we go. Scott says there's a haunted toy playing in your room behind you.
Mm, no toy behind me.
Okay. Well, we have also you freeze up every so often. Your sound is perfect, but your picture freezes up every so often. But at least, thankfully, you're frozen in a good facial expression. Because sometimes when I freeze, it's like, oh lordy.
Wow.
Thank you to everybody who's popping in throughout the show. I'm trying to behave and pay attention to the chat room, but I'm having too much fun. You know how I am. Too bad. So, if anybody has any questions for Kendra, please feel free, pop them into the chat room, and if my little eyes can pay attention and watch, I will. And what a good girl. Who's a good girl? Gina's swearing at me again. I am. I did a Facebook poll, and it said I had a 0% dirty mind. I was like a newborn baby, and so for some reason nobody believes that. I don't understand why. I'm so sweet and innocent. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's hiding behind that red hair.
Yep. But we don't
I
talk
know
about
I'm a natural redhead myself, but I
it's
dye
true.
my hair black because it's all white.
Oh gosh. Scott Stevenson in the chat room says my daughter says I look like I should be hunting varmints with a beard like mine. Scott is like big white bushy faced. He's got lots of white hair. So, or excuse me, silver platinum blonde, and he's very he's adorable. But I swear to God, if I ever go to England, I'm gonna give that boy a shave
I
and a
wanted to go
haircut.
to the UK this summer, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Uh,
Well, it's just, but there's still after that, you know. We never know. Like I said,
right.
okay. Let's see this. Scott's got something. Kendra turned around when there was a musical sort of toy sound. We heard it too. Was kidding. Rita haunted. Oh, I think that was her phone.
Yeah, that was my daughter's phone.
Ah, okay. And Kendra, Tracy Tarot Tracy says, yes, come to the UK. I we plan on going there. I'm doing a lot.
I got a
Good.
good couple of ghost hunter friends live out in the UK. I want to go ghost hunting with.
Yeah, I think the UK is interesting because it has castles.
Yeah,
And that's what we don't have here, well, in Canada or the States, not that as far as I know, they don't have them in the States, unless they were brought over here from, from the UK, is that we don't have castles. I have a friend who lives like just around the corner from a whole bunch of castles. It's like, hello, that's so not fair. A good friend of mine, she's moved to Ireland. She's the girl who did my nails. She moved to Ireland, and when she went there on vacation, she took pictures in castles, and I was so jealous. I love the idea.
oh, that would have been so cool to see.
Yes. Okay. Taro Tracy says haunted hotels, coaching inns. Hmm. Yeah, I think a haunted hotel. Let's see. Are you willing to stay in a haunted hotel?
Yeah, I would love to.
I'd have to make sure nobody was in the room with me. Because if my husband was in the same room with a haunted hotel, he'd be like just doing it just to mess with me, and I wouldn't be sure if it was him messing with me or spirit. So
That would be freaky because, I sleep like a rock. So, they would be picking me up and I'd be floating up in the air and wouldn't even know it.
yeah, that's true. I'm like a heavy sleeper. I was. They'd have to seriously take the bed and just throw it for me to wake up, or make the phone ring. Make the phone ring. That I wake up for. I don't know why.
Not unless they're talking in my ears, because a lot of people don't know I'm actually deaf. I actually wear hearing aids.
Okay.
And but for some reason I feel the vibration and hear the voices in my ears when they're talking, like they had to get real close into my ears. But I hear that.
Hmm. Well, because
And
it's a vibration.
sometimes they
It's
keep
not.
me up at night doing that. They'll
Yeah.
be chattering in my ears all night long, and it's like, leave me alone.
Wow. It's like you can't, and it's not like you can plug your ears like a hearing person. Because like I don't play. You could just like take out your hearing aids, but it's not the sound that you're hearing. It's the
Right.
vibration that you're hearing. So it
Yeah.
makes a difference. Yeah. Okay. And Deborah Joe, yes, you are right. We have chateaus. That's up in Quebec, and I got the correction of the word, but yeah, we do have chateaus. But they're like it's not the same thing. It's not a castle. It's a chateau. I know it's the same thing if we translate it, but it's not haunted. I want an English castle. I don't want a French castle. I'm good because Quebec, French, love them. Okay. Scott says, I live 15 minutes from Glastonbury Tor and 1 hour from Stonehenge. Now that's a place I'd love to
Ooh,
go see.
that sounds spooky.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get into all kinds of trouble doing that
Yep.
now.
Oh, definitely. But you know what? It's a good kind of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. Go
Deborah
have
Joe,
some beers and go to the cemeteries or go to the haunted castle.
Lordy. Mm. Deborah Joe says, "Me too. I'm hearing impaired. We do wear them. There you go.
See, I can't wear mine because my tubes in my ears are too small and I get ear infections from them.
Oh,
Yeah,
and that's not fun to get ear infections.
no.
Scott says the energies are fab over in Stonehenge. Okay, let's see. It's funny because they talk into my deaf ear on the left side and not my good. It's because because for some spirit is like children, no matter what age. I think, especially the guys, and no matter what age, we sort of have like that British castles. They are in four continent countries and with an ancient castle. Okay, fine. I've just been scolded. Um, I think spirit in many respects is not childish, but has that childish energy that it's like they, because like when they were here, most of spirit when they were here did not believe in the afterlife and in ghosts and in
Hmm.
whatnot and have you. So when they get here, it's like, oh my god, I can do this thing. Like I have a friend who says that because I've never had spirit, like a lot of people have had spirit sit on their bed and they can feel. He says when he passes, he's going to come and dance a jig on my bed. I said, it'll take that much to wake me up. Sleep. I've slept through
I've had
earthquakes.
them. I've had them shake my bed
Wow.
when I was pregnant, and I've also heard babies crying when there wasn't no babies in the house before I had my daughter. It was really weird. And that room in my mom and dad's house, it would always stay cold.
Okay. And
So
that's one of the signs, for lack of a better word, when spirit is around, is the energy. It gets colder. Now, I wonder what that is. Why wouldn't
I don't know. Sometimes when I'm doing readings and when spirits are upon me, I'll start getting cold, but I'll start getting hot.
Okay.
And I also noticed too that my eyes will water and my nose will run. Like right now, that's why I'm carrying this because I'm picking up people's energy, so my nose is running. So I'm constantly like,
Okay. I, okay. Just a moment. Britain isn't just England. Tisk. Scott. I love him.
I love England.
It's okay. I will message your wife and she will smack you for me. Deborah Joe says the shaking the bed thing is really unnerving, or if you feel one lay down on the bed or sit on your bed. I don't know if it's just because I am a heavy sleeper, but I have never. Like they're gonna have to dance a jig on my bed to actually make me feel it. Because, like, my husband can get into bed and out of bed, and I'll never know he's been there, except that the dog wakes me up. It's like the dog comes over and jumps on me. It's like, oh my god, oh my god. And I was like, okay, fine. Geography lesson from Scott. Yes, exactly, Jay. He just my kilted friend. What can I say?
I could
So
tell you all kinds of scary stuff. I mean, especially in my mom and dad's house.
mhm,
I've been shoved down the steps when I was pregnant,
not
from the
good.
top of the steps to the bottom, tumbled down the steps. I mean,
Wow.
it's more than one occasion. I've
Was
been
it was
pushed
it
down the steps when I was holding my son when he was 4 months old and I was pregnant. So yeah, it could be dangerous.
when you were being pushed down the stairs? Just out of curiosity, when you were being pushed down the stairs and you were pregnant, was that with your son?
No, I was pregnant with my oldest daughter and I had my son in my arms.
Hmm. Spirit can be a shithead.
Hmm.
Okay, we've got Gina in the chat room. I'm giving Scott the evil eye. I had that happen once. I thought it was my dog jumped up on my bed, but she made a noise on the floor next to me. Well, that's cool. And she's got a cute little dog. So hello. But
I have a
okay.
dog spirit in my house from one of my dogs passing. You'll hear him barking outside and like, like he's still living and you go to look, to see if it's him and nothing's there, but I'll open up the back door and say, "Come on, Happy, come on in."
What kind of dog was it? Just out of curiosity.
He was like a Shih Tzu mixed with something I can't remember, but he was a full bred.
Okay. No, because I had a dog when I was a kid, Happy, and he was an English sheepdog mixed with a something else. He was a long, furry, shaggy,
Yeah,
adorable.
he had a lot of fur. he
Yeah.
he would bite me every time I tried to cut him,
Ah,
but somebody had to cut him.
someone needs to trim. They need to have a pet spa. There we go. That shouldn't be closed. That should be essential services. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's see. We got some conversations going on. Ha ha. But England does have great castles. Warwick, just you, the road, just down the road from me. Yes.
Wow.
Okay. So there we go. People, you're not supposed to feel this stuff on a Tempur-Pedic, spiritual or not. Well, I don't have a Tempur-Pedic, but yeah, like I said, I'm a really heavy sleeper. And Gina in chat room says Germany has nice castles. I think most of the UK, Britain, Scotland. I'm just gonna cover everything I could think of. Wales, Germany, over there across the sea, not in Canada, has amazing, amazing castles and amazing uh, um, history. That because I live here, I'm kind of hey, it's Canada, no biggie. But for me, it's like oh yeah, the UK. I'm drawn there for many many reasons. Do, 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 do. Yeah, okay, here we go. We're gonna list every country. Russia. There we go. Oh gosh.
Russia. Yeah, you know where they had that thing go off and it hurt a lot of people. That radiation.
Okay,
I
the
like to,
thing.
yeah, I like to
We're
go there.
good at our English today, aren't we, people?
I would like to go there to investigate.
I think that there are many places that have had like man-made disasters that the spirits of the people that passed during that would be wild.
Yeah.
Deborah Joe, Tara Tracy, I would like to come over to England and bunked with you and go paranormal investigating. We'd have a good time. Yes. So we're gonna make everybody when this Chernobyl. Thank you, Gina. Chernobyl was over in Russia that you were talking about. Um, I think this is one thing about us being sort of stuck in house. As I call it, Mother Nature has grounded us all. Man may have had a hand in it, but Mother Nature has grounded us all. We're all supposed to stay in our rooms while she gets her peace and quiet, and she helps to heal, which she's doing. But while we're doing this time, we're meeting interesting people, meeting different people from different walks of life, from different places. And I think that once it's over and we get back to somewhat normal lives, I don't think we can ever go back to the way we were. That the friendships that we've made during this time will open up another doorway for us to go visit people over in the UK, go visit people in the States, in Canada. It's always been my dream to take uh, um, a Winnebago type camper thing, like a little thing, not big fancy, and grab my daughter and make her drive because I don't drive. The only thing I do is drive people crazy. Hey, Scott can attest to that. And just travel across Canada down to the States, chitty chitty bang bang, get over to the UK and all the places up there, and then I'm going to retire in Trinidad.
Oh, wow. Well, Mama D, Canada's not too far from us.
Yeah, I know, and
Just
Quebec's
across
a little bit.
from Detroit, actually.
Yep, yep, totally, Mama. You're exactly right. Yes, I know. Um, I was as I don't travel now because for many reasons, but when I was a child, I went across to Plattsburgh in Vermont. Uh, uh, when I was in high school, my boyfriend had family in New York, so we went over to New York. And then my husband's from Philadelphia, so I went to Philadelphia a couple of times. They let me back in after the first time. um, and his family still loves me. But I think, people don't realize. Like I have a friend who I met through Facebook. She lives in Ontario, and she is part of a paranormal group in Ontario. But she's also part of a group that it's a combination of different groups that get together and do investigations. They do videotaping, and they're doing their own show without it being they do their own editing of all the places they've been, and it's pretty good. And she travels over there. She's right now lost because she can't do any traveling like a lot of us, but she crosses over and she goes into investigations because she's right on the border. She's close to the border of the US where she is. For me to get there, it'd be like a full day, maybe two, driving. So
So I got a question for some people. I know there's some psychic mediums and stuff that's on your show.
mhm.
Um, when people see orbs, do you think that's human energy or something other? Do you think that's like a spirit?
I think I belong to a group that we did, that was our topic of conversation just last weekend, orbs. And I have never seen an orb except through video. And I think so far everything that I've seen has been explained away. But there are some that can't be explained, and you see Onyx is dreaming. So if you hear Wolfies, it's him. You see faces in the orbs. So
Mm-hmm.
it's orbs. I think are ooh, orbs. I think are another one of those things that people have to understand, to have an open mind to understanding. If you can't figure it, if you can't d- figure out what it is with science, and talk. Okay, it's a light. It was floating from over there. Whatever. You got to be open to the thing. Scott Stevenson in the chat room. Sometimes some are also elementals.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
I would have to agree. Um, the reason why I had to ask that is because see, on my ghost hunting page, I that's what I have as one of my background pictures, is because it came from out of my house. And what happened was I had a grandson that passed when he was 6 years old. Um, and I was writing a letter to him on uh Facebook in one of my writing groups that I have. Um, and I was like saying, dear Santa, if you could bring back my grandson just for this one special day, and it happened to be on Christmas Day. I
hmm
was like, I would choose this day. And then all of a sudden I seen this green orb shoot by my face, and I thought it was a fly, so I kept shooting it away, and it kept flying in front of me. And then I was getting my other two grandsons ready for Christmas Day, getting them dressed and everything. And I decided, that I was going to take photos of them before I left. And so I happened to see it fly near my grandson, and I took the photo and caught it.
Okay, so is that photo up on your Facebook page?
Yeah, it's in my group photos, even on my psychic page.
Okay, would you allow me to copy and paste it? Well, not copy and paste it, but put it into the link into the show once we're done.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so anybody who wants to take a look at it, I once this show is over, I will get the picture and upload it into the comment section of the show, so you can have your give Kendra your opinions. Gina says, here we go. Mostly dust and moisture is her thoughts on orbs, but she didn't say all. She said mostly. So there's still that
Mhm.
opportunity of thing. Deborah Joe, I have seen angel sparkles and I have seen orbs which have felt human to me. That's her experience. Okay, cool. And I also see orbs with my eyes. I think that's interesting. But can you also, you know, people have this thing, oh, I need to see it for myself. So, it doesn't, you cannot expect people to believe what we see with our own eyes because they can't see it. But those people who say, I believe Deborah Joe, if you believe that you've seen it, then I have faith in you because you can't explain it away yourself. So that's something that you believe. So that's how it works.
Hmm.
Go. Tarot Tracy, can easily rule out dust, light, flares, etc. Yeah, that's the thing. You have to figure out how to rule them out. Um, if they react and follow directions. So, example, if you see something and you go like this, then it follows the flow of the air. So that would be dust and possibly. And Sandy, hey Sandy. She sees vibrations. Yeah, I like that. Now, is vibrations kind of like seeing auras? That's a question.
I can see auras.
You can see auras?
Yeah, that's how I can tell if somebody's a true medium because I'll see gold.
Okay.
If they're a true medium, like they say, I'll see gold around them.
I'm afraid to ask what colors you see around me. You're frozen again. I'm afraid to ask what colors you see around me.
Well, I can only see it in still pictures. So when I do hair readings,
Okay.
and selfies, um, like I could tell if somebody's a healer because I'll see the green around them.
Oh, nice.
Um, and I also see what they call Christmas lights, which is different colored lights.
Okay.
But they look like Christmas lights to me.
Oh, nice.
It's really weird. Sometimes
What?
I spook myself out.
That's fun. Gina Bankston, different people have different abilities. Yes, very, very true.
Yes. Yes.
And Sandy Bigler says, I see love around you. Aw. It's because I love you people. And most people love me. A lot of people think I belong in the nut house, but Scott doesn't always count. Uh, Gina says, explains the color of the auras. That's a conversation for a show. I think everybody has a different way. Like everything else, everybody probably has a different meaning for the color of the auras that you see.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Scott Stevenson, if there is a lot of healing being done or spiritual type things, the sparkles of colored lights appear in your house. Very
Hmm. I wonder if that's the same for people when I see them on people. So I wonder, I wonder now that he brought that up.
Oh God, Scott said something interesting to make us think. I'm never going to hear the end of this. Tarot Tracy says all mediumship starts with healing. Very true. Uh, And for me, I really dislike when people try and fit you into a box. Like, what are you? Are you a paranormal investigator? Are you a medium? Are you a psychic? Are you a whatever?
I have no labels. That's what I
No,
tell everybody. I have no labels.
I give myself a label as a healer because everything I do with the intention that somebody will be healed. Whether it's a show like this, whether it's my actual, when I do Reiki, when I do readings, whatever I do, I know that somebody gets healed in one way or another. What's physically, spiritually, emotionally, there's always a healing being done. Even for
Mhm.
paranormal investigators, when they go do investigations of houses, they're healing that family. So they're healers. First and foremost, we are healers. And what you do after, everything else comes after that. So, people could just keep their labels to themselves.
Yep.
Let's see. Deborah Jo, haha. My aura pictures, there was gold yellow around me. So thank you. I have a good friend who does aura readings. Hey, look, there's Deidre. Drita. I see gold around my friend all the time. He denies it that he's even awake. That's fun because I'm guessing that maybe he does. Maybe it's not that he denies it. Maybe it's just that he's not ready for it. A
Yeah.
lot of people call what we have as abilities, and I call them gifts. And some people, why it's not a gift, it's an ability. I said, well, it just depends on how you look at it. Me, I call them gifts because not everybody's ready to open a gift, open that box. And when they do open that box, it's a gift that they're opening. So, like, whether you're a psychic or a medium or whatever you are, um, you can, excuse me, you can choose not to open the gift, not to work with it. You choose not to work with your abilities. It's your choice. So for me, it's a gift because it's something that's given to me, for whoever you are, how you believe it. It's even for those who have to work on it. Hello, to study and practice. Everybody does, but it's a gift that you're using, that you're working on. So I think but that again, my opinion. And Scott says there's always a first. Okay. White on the lower left and purple on the lower right. Hmm, interesting. Should do come on over to a group that I'm in. Maybe you get a free reading a month, and I'm not sure if they do aura readings, but I'm waiting to get the tea reading done. I gotta drink a cup of tea with real tea leaves in it. I'll probably swallow half of them, knowing me.
Have you guys ever heard of paper reading?
Paper reading?
Yeah, paper reading. It's where you crumble up a piece of paper and you open it up gently, not all the way, and you don't smash it down, and you just look at the paper. It's almost like tea reading. I could
Hmm,
do that too.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think, well, you know what? Here's the thing is, I think I've learned with a lot of the friends that I have that there's different ways to do readings. Hold on a second. Ugh. Hello, everybody. This is Onyx. Okay, you've had your moment in the sun. There you go. I think their friend of mine said that he knew somebody who used to do popcorn readings. And I was like, oh, that would be interesting. And back in the day when people were not supposed to be doing this, they would go to a person's house and all they would have is a bottle of not a bottle, a bowl of water, and they would read the bottle of, and for some reason scrying comes into my head, don't know why. Um they would read from it's like having a glass ball, crystal balls. It's grandson. It's just so I don't see why paper readings would be any different. That would be interesting. I mean, it's like palm reading. You reading the lines in your hand, so why not read the palm, the things? Mm. Okay. Thank you very much, Trita. Trita loves my show. Have you ever heard of paper readings? Oops, there we go, Pamela Ron. Yes, I have heard of paper readings and wax readings.
Yeah, I've heard of wax readings too.
I saw somebody do that once, and it's fascinating. The wax reading was fascinating. I could never understand because every candle, for some reason, every candle I get is a non-drip candle, so I can't read the drippings of the wax. Scott Stevenson again. There's a lot of incredible healers who are competent atheists and not into this nurses, doctors, counselors, and grandma kitchens. There you go. Yes, it's funny because people don't realize that. Whoops, where'd you go? That they're healers. Sometimes they just think this is what they do. It's like before I knew what I was doing, I was just me. I was doing what I do. And now I know. Now I know what it is, kind of sort of with an extension. Scott, again, it's like ribbon readings. Anything you can be a focus. Doesn't matter as long as it works for the reader and the sitter. Very true.
I never really thought of that because I guess, if you can read,
Sound
if
just
you
went
can
wonky, but that's
read
okay.
tea leaves, then why couldn't you read wax, paper? Because it's just seeing the images.
Yeah, exactly. The images and the energy is very cool. Gina Bankston, I like the smoke reading. Put your intention into the smoke. Put your intention in the smoke or questions. Take the picture of the smoke. Hello. Now there's. Too bad I quit smoking. Candle.
I like my cigarettes.
Yeah, I used to. It took me a long time to quit smoking, but I did. Anyway, my darling, we are over time, an hour and 10 minutes. We started late, but it's okay. We still had a good time. As I always say, there's always a glitch in my show. Somehow, somewhere, there's a glitch. So, first off, thank you everybody in the chat room who came in and participated in the conversations that we were having. And this is what I enjoy about it. Um, Kendall, Pamela Rogers says she can also read the flames. Now that I like. Um, Thank you everybody for being here. Uh, thank you very much, Kendra, for hanging in and not throwing the computer out the window.
Yeah, sometimes I like to throw that sucker out the window.
Another feeling. I do know the feeling. So anybody who wants to get a hold of you, if you cannot find her, if you cannot find Kendra on Facebook, message me on Facebook because most people in the chat room are on my friends list. If not, you can find me, Mama D, Darlene, Mama D Angel on Facebook, and I will connect you with Kendra. I will post in the comments of the show. I will post the picture and I will post a link to her Facebook group so that you can join in there. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you next week when my guest will be Mandy Masters. She's a very, very interesting medium from over in the UK somewhere. I don't want to make a mistake and get into trouble again. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye, Kendra.